Et on va passer sur le dernier jeu pour ma part, qui va donc être Wardogs. Oui, c'est ça. Donc, bienvenue, c'est vous qui vous occupez. I can speak English if you want. We can do it in English. Okay, no problem. You can come. You can take a seat. Please take a seat. I'm gonna change the game, and you can take the microphone.
Okay,
Here you
thank
go,
you.
and you just have to put it really near the mouth so we can hear you well.
Streaming is better, right?
Yeah,
Here,
right.
They could hear, but for the streaming.
Yeah, it's better. So do not hesitate. I will let you introduce yourself while I'm putting the game on.
Okay.
And so, yeah, feel free to present yourself.
Perfect. First, thanks for the presentation before. It took like several pictures.
With pleasure.
Yes. And for the answers. But I am Rafael Lontra. I'm from Mito Games. We're a Brazilian game development company. This is a very interesting case because this was an advert game that was so good that we made it an actual game for the brand. But this is part of our history also because we started developing educational games, advert games for clients, and at some point we were invited. Actually, we decided that the game was not good enough, not playable enough on the mobile, which was the idea for our client, and we proposed to make it for Steam. So we said, okay, 6 more months, it will be cheap for you, just 6 months to improve the quality and everything, and they liked it.
Okay.
And when we were about to release it for the PC, a publisher came to us and said, listen, it was a Brazilian publisher named Qbyte. So they said, we just released 99 Lives. I think it's a quite famous game also. It was from a streamer in Brazil, and they really liked the results. Maybe if you want to play on the controller, it will be more fun.
Okay, no problem.
And after we made the adaptations, it's better, but it was a mobile game.
Okay.
And,
So firstly it was a mobile game.
Then we had to change it all because
you changed it all. Okay.
it was supposed to be a free-to-play game to put more things of the brand and show clothes with time. But then we realized that the story was way more fun and the mechanics of beat 'em up also. After you play it several times, just to change and buy more clothes for the brand, it's not the value. They really wanted to have the engagement and know it, so we made a smaller package of a game with a cool history and narratives and everything. But then we changed the whole model of the game for a premium game.
Premium game, yeah.
And this is when we decided to make entertainment games, like 2 years ago.
Okay. So what's the type of Wardogs? Is it a narrative game? Can you tell us a little bit about the game?
Yes, although you see a lot of narrative, the character does have a story, but it's a beat 'em up.
Oh.
So it's not common to
Right.
have such rich story. This is something that I really loved about the streaming also. When we released the game, it was the first game for ourselves.
Okay,
So-
first game, okay.
I was not expecting that people would be playing it online and I could watch and talk to them. That's how I got some of the contacts that I started having because I was so amazed to be seeing them play and they were so happy to see me in the live. So the game developer was participating, for them was a huge thing also. And I love to see them doing you already found the combos, good. To find the
I'm a good player.
they making
what
the
can I say?
voice acting on over of the game. It was just amazing for me. And yes, I can see that you know how to play.
So the game is in 3D horizontal, as I can see. So is it like in some levels, or
Yes.
how is it presented, the game?
It's very, very old school
Old
beat
school,
'em up.
yeah,
You will go from the left to the right until you find the big boss. And
Okay.
of course, sometimes some cutscenes will appear, but mostly you'll be beating them up. At the end of the level, there are some interesting things. You get some, now you're very weak, but you will get some items, of course, that you can use
Okay.
the cosmetics, but you can also have some implants and some ships and stuff that you will put to equip yourself, and then you can make a kind of RPG style. So
Okay.
you can choose to have more damage against the minions, or can have more damage against the bosses, or have a vampiric attack, or a few things like that. That we were thinking about how to make it replayable for the freemium version, but then we condensed in just one thing in the whole play and made the experience much more interesting for the players. So this is the base idea. You're just going from left to right, and the story is fun, but it's right straight away. I can make a little background.
Sure.
Red was a guy from the suburbs,
Yeah.
so he had his gang of friends, and it was always tough. They had to fight for the regions and for the space and everything. It was a hard life because it's a very dystopic society. The crazy thing about the dogs, we had to put the brand, right? The mascot of the brand was a dog, and they have anthropomorphized dog as one of the brands. So we made the story that it's a dystopic future where society has collapsed. And so there were the outer ring of the city and the inner ring. In the inner ring, the rich people would live.
Okay.
and in the outer ring, the poor people would live. They're all dogs because a plague had happened in the world, and they had to make genetic experience. That's why you have the implants and everything. It kind of connects. We had to make a codex so that they can have all the information, because during the beat 'em up, we cannot put so many stop and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it will make not as funny. I will give you a hint. You can use some power-ups if you press LB, and I think it will be. No, then it's probably the one on
Yeah,
top.
I put the RB. Sorry. Yeah. So LB.
And then,
oh yeah.
why you can heal, you can get a power-up, or can kill all the enemies on the screen.
That's interesting.
So this is very old-style
Yeah,
power-ups,
yeah.
and it does make a game a lot easier. The game a lot easier.
Yeah. What were the inspiration to make the game? Do you have any games you were inspired to make it?
Okay, my first after the Atari. My first colored console was the Master System, which had some games in common with Mega Drive. So I didn't have many games, but I had Double Dragon,
Yeah,
which
of course.
was just amazing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I bought another of the same time, which was Vigilante. It didn't make that much success, but now it has a series and come up. But you will see a lot of things from Final Fight and most of the classic.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit annoying sometimes. You get the feeling of the not Teenage Mutant Turtles, the other two, the frogs, Battletoads, and stuff like that with the combos, and you can have some different finishings and so on. I said you were doing too good, now you're dying. That's, I jinxed you.
I'm dying. Yeah, right.
But we're talking, right? So
yeah, that's hard to play and
this is
do,
the
right?
hardest part of the stage one.
Really?
Also.
That's
Yeah.
the boss or not?
No. You have a real big boss.
Okay, I want to see the boss actually for the
Now
stream.
that you know the power-ups, I think you will be better.
Yeah.
And this is blockable also if you want the shot.
Oh, okay. And what is the public you want to reach with this game? Is it like people who like old school games, maybe young people? I don't know. What is the
This was
the
already released, I think, 2 years ago. So we have a better view on the public. It really made a lot of success. We didn't expect. But on PlayStation, it ranked between the first 10 indie games for over 2 months.
Oh, that's good.
So even
That's
for the
very good.
publisher, they didn't expect. So for
Yeah,
our
yeah.
client, was really amazing, and it made a really a big difference in the sales. So if we were just releasing for Steam or mobile, I think Steam was 5% of the game downloads.
Okay. So
And from the comments and people who played online, it's most people that are fan of old school beat 'em ups, and they even complain that it's easier than it should because you can get the implants. And we want to make a DLC. We already planned a DLC with some extra content.
okay, so you're planning to do a DLC for the game.
Yes.
Do you have an idea where you want to release it?
The thing is, now it's with the publisher, the first publisher. So we did the development and sent it for them. They are publishing a lot of games lately, so I'm not sure the exact date. They didn't give it to us yet, but we're waiting for half a year to 1 year.
Okay,
It's good for developers to know. Also, sometimes you don't have a clear deadline. You
It's
have
true.
to have all the contacts. Especially, it was our first. It's a good partnership. We don't want to have a problem. But the idea is, we are expecting for the second quarter of next year probably. There's another game to be released before. We are
Okay.
working on different titles also. We got some grants in Brazil to make different styles of games for cultural grants, and so we are really excited with that. But I would say most of the audience now is really for Wardogs, is beat 'em up fans. We can see it on the speed run.
Yeah.
There are some people
some
making
people
speed runs of
speedrun
the
of it.
game,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why they wanted like a hard mode that you start with all those 3 lives. Because what happens now if you clear this level, all your lives will reset for the next
okay.
one. So the real hardcore players were complaining because then it's
Yeah.
too easy. And we want to make this, and it will be special for speedrun because some people of the speedrun community
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
it. I didn't expect because it's a quite big game, has some cutscenes.
Yeah.
but
How
still
long
they
is
love
the
it.
game actually? How do you?
I think the record was set 2 weeks ago.
Don't hesitate to. Yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
the record was set 2 weeks ago. Surprisingly, I was checking on the class here, and it's 1 hour and 35 minutes or something like that.
And the average to finish the game, how long is it?
Yeah, it should be 2.5 or 3 hours. If
Okay,
you
okay.
die a bit more, it can take longer. But even without dying, if you want to read the text and everything, it will take 2.5 hours approximately.
Yeah. It's true that there is a lot of text, so the narrative part is important as well. So
The
that's,
story is catchy, so I can tell a bit out of the story.
Yeah, you
so
can talk a bit about of the story. Like, what is it about? You say that it was like it's in the suburb and stuff, but is there any more characters?
I think we had a bug now. This is
I have a
interesting.
bug. That's interesting, right?
Can you use the dash or something? Yeah, it
The
always
dash.
happens when we are playing live. No,
Yeah,
no,
of
so I
course,
think
huh? Yeah,
yeah,
I
have
will
to
do it
restart.
again.
It's good that I get back to the story. So he was from the suburb, but he ascended in life being a fighter.
Okay.
And so he moved to the big city. So this is the big city. This is the suburbs where you fight.
Okay.
This is where you can equip the
You
things
can
and you can
equip
find
things. Okay, okay.
and
There are
there's the
some
codex for
missions.
information. But
Yeah.
maybe it's best to go for story mode.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
And so he was in this the city. He had a good life. He was about to fight the title of the boxing championship, and he lost his head. He punched a guy in the interview because he had said something about the community, because they think they're superiors in that life, and blah, blah, blah. So he was banned from the city. He had actually to run. And when he gets back, he figures that his village is being taken by a different gang.
Okay,
So he
okay.
wants to find right now he's trying to look for his friends and understand what's going on. So I can even say if we don't get the first boss is an old friend of him, not friend, but they used to fight before, and they said, okay, now your gang's weak, I'm gonna take over the city, the small space that they
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
and this is what it runs about. And then at the end, I can just jump a bit without lots of spoilers. He finds out the things that he were looking for. He finds out stuff about his past that he didn't remember anymore. That's what
Okay.
calls him his trauma and to punch. Actually, an interesting, this character, it's a bit deeper. I'm doing the masters here at Albert Chacad. I moved to Belgium, so I'm
Okay.
studying at Hochschule, and we have an anthropology exercise. I want to do this character's story as an exercise because he had a childhood trauma. There are some strong scenes in the game also. One of the bosses doesn't want to fight, so he doesn't want to live anymore, if you know what I mean. And it's very dramatic at some points.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
at the end, he finds out that the things he loved and his family is there, and so he wants to stay a bit longer in the suburb and try to make a better life for them in the end. So it's a lot of story for just smashing and kicking.
Yeah, it's true, but that's impressive. Like it's like maybe I don't know the positive, very positive point for the game is like usually beat them all is all about just fighting, and now you have the narrative way of the game, and the character development looks interesting as well. So is there a way that the narrative has an impact on the game, or is it just sometimes do you have to make some choices, or
You don't have to make that kind of choices. It's really presented to you, but after intense sessions, after the boss and everything, there comes the strongest messages when you were like, okay, I beat him. So what's coming next? And honestly, I made some streamings out of the game, so I
Yeah.
was learning how to do things. Every time there's this scene where one of the bosses, because this is in a situation that life's bad for all of them. All the people that you're fighting against is also not in the best shape. Even the final boss at the beginning, at the end, becomes friends with him. When he dies, they're still partners and stuff. So it's bad for everybody. And I remember doing the streaming, and when I was reading and doing the voice, I would feel like the chills and like, okay, I need to contain a bit. And I saw lots of people playing it and getting very emotional
yeah.
when they found out this. But I'm not sure how much expected was it. It's part of the story, but I didn't have the experience to see streamers playing
Yeah,
live,
yeah.
and now it's like that. One of the things that made me decide and made the company decide to make more entertainment games was, okay, I want to have more of my time doing that and spending time with this community and with the streamers, because it's way more interesting life than working with just the clients. Of course, we are like 25 people at Mito Games. Maybe 5 of them are working on entertainment games. The other
Yeah.
20
Okay.
are working for clients. And I want to have in Belgium maybe just the creative sector and do some of the work here to be partners and be more close to that part, because it's really interesting. Okay, now you're getting close to the boss. I will give you another hint. You can break the boxes, and sometimes there will be life or weapons
you can
inside.
break some stuff in the
Yes.
environment.
Yeah, it's very classic for the beat 'em up,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
true.
wanted to watch you a bit
Yeah,
and before
yeah,
telling
it's
you.
true, it's true.
Now you would learn, right, that you can break. And
Now I
then
can,
You can
okay.
probably try to break the that's
Yeah, okay. That's nice actually. And so you spoke about a DLC. So do you have any other project so far? What is like the next move for the game or for your studio? Is there something that we should expect from you?
We have lots of new things to be released for next year. It really looks promising.
Okay.
Because I said we had some grants from, and you can use different powers depending on the level. So you're
Yeah,
using
yeah.
the first, but you can heal or kill them. I think you learn because you were killing them all sometimes.
Sometimes.
And this really adds your damage and disturbs them. So it's really useful to
Yeah.
use the first one when you're getting
That's
beat
the
'em up.
boss, right?
Yes, this is the actual boss.
Oh, that's nice, Divul. And actually, I love boss fights because I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls.
Yes.
So
One interesting thing, after this game, so we had this partner publisher, and it was really interesting working with them. But we wanted to make our own games. So the next game that we developed, I came here to talk about it last year. I even have the Kickstarter T-shirt
Ooh,
for
nice.
the elements. We made it not just, of course, it's something we liked, but we had one thing in mind. The goal was to get the approval from the console companies.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
got the dev kits and the approval for all the major. Oh, you killed the boss already, almost.
No, almost, yeah.
Yeah, now he will die. Nice. So now we got it, the license to be publishers for all the big consoles. And,
Okay, nice.
And we want also to help publish games. As we had the help with this game, we want to have other studios who don't have this yet, because you have to have experience, you have to show the team. It's a bit of bureaucratic process.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also sometimes you have to buy or pay the taxes to just receive the dev kits. It's expensive. So we're moving towards that. And for the elements, one of the reviews on Steam was, this is like if a Metroidvania and you just said the most difficult.
Oh, Dark Souls.
Dark Souls had a baby, and so this is the game. You have
Oh,
Metroidvania in
that's
the
a
level,
good
but the
mix.
boss, you have to really pay attention to the patterns.
That's a good mix.
Here
Yeah.
also, our game designer is really good in that, because you might have a hard time in the first time you beat the boss, but if you play over and over, you see, okay, so this time I should move like this time I should do it like that.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating not understanding sometimes, but it's not at the Dark Souls level, it's a bit more.
That's true. And I finished the level and I see that I have some rewards. What is it about? Is there for the shop or?
Yes, this is cash that you can convert, and those crystals you can also use to buy the customizations.
Okay.
And that ship, the green thing you got, it's actually an upgrade. Then you can change your
Oh,
style. As I said,
okay.
you can
So
buy
you
them.
Yeah, you say that, so you can have
equip.
some equipment
Maybe you
and
can
stuff?
see it. Go to the menu
The
and I'll
menu,
show you
okay.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can see the menu, and yeah, no, it's very nice. Looks fun in the streaming as well. So it's only solo, right? There is
Yes.
no
This
co-op
is the
or?
sad thing about the
Yeah.
mobile history of the
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
because it was really not planned. And this was even something that we discussed, because we would have to change the whole history
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
the whole story. So I'm not sure if it bugged again. I need to see what's happening with this build.
Yeah, there was a little bit problem. Can be the computer though.
Yeah.
So I can.
Usually it's
restart.
the indie game's fault.
No worries. I will just reload it again, so no problem with that. And actually, while we will see the equipment, we arrive at the end of the presentation of the game. So maybe you have a last words about the game. What do you want us to know about it? Maybe
Yep.
something we didn't speak about.
Yeah, I think for this game it's quite interesting. The thing I love the most is the story. But for the DLC, I can just explain a bit. As you saw, there's one boss. There are 5 actually playable bosses. And the DLC will be like a hard mode. There is an arena mode that you can go and try to beat the highest levels. You know, so it's a wave of enemies coming. And we made a DLC where you can play as the bosses. So we took the mechanics, the attacks, and everything from the bosses and made it playable, since we can't have 2 characters playing.
Yeah.
But at least you can play with some different characters, not in the story, but you can test how it is to be all of them. I think
Yeah.
it's a quite interesting experience.
Right, that's great. Well, thank you for coming here and present the game. It was really interesting. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for
I
having us.
wish you all the success for the game and for the DLC as well. I hope the chat enjoyed, and I hope the room here as well enjoyed it. Thank you very much. We can applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And je vais repasser en français. Pour moi, c'était le dernier jeu lequel je présentais lors de cette session streaming. Je vais passer, thank you. Je vais passer la main du coup à la personne suivante qui va venir faire les prochains jeux. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été là, que ce soit sur place ici dans la salle ou dans le stream. C'était hyper intéressant. Je vous mets un petit écran de pause pour le stream, le temps qu'on fasse un petit peu le changement avec la prochaine personne. Et en tout cas, c'était vraiment un plaisir. Je vous laisse tout de suite. On revient dans vraiment 2-3 minutes.